Millions of litres of oil spewed uncontrollably from BP's Deepwater Horizon rig. The dispersants used to clean up the disaster left behind invisible toxic chemicals which are killing people. Those same dispersants are approved for use in Australia. And as you'll see, these deadly chemicals have already been sprayed around our coastline. In the very same month that the Deepwater Horizon rig exploded, here on the Great Barrier Reef, the Chinese bulk carrier, the Shen Neng, ran aground spewing oil onto the reef. And to disperse that oil, 60 Minutes can reveal that 2,000 litres of Corexit 9527 was used. The same chemical killing dolphins, turtles and other marine life in the Gulf of Mexico.
It's a disaster for health reasons.
And 220 kilometres off the coast of WA, Corexit has also been sprayed. When the Montara oil rig exploded and spewed millions of litres of crude into our waters, Corexit 9500 and 9527, some 45,000 litres worth, was used. The only thing keeping this toxic mix from our coast, the winds and the tides. In the case of Montara, the slick was blown northwest to Timor, where it's claimed 18 local fishermen died as a result. It's little wonder the use of these chemicals is under serious scrutiny around the world. But our own authorities don't appear too concerned. Do you know how safe or how toxic Corexit 9527 and Corexit 9500 are? These are commonly used and approved in Australia for use in an oil spill.
They're very commonly used and approved for use in Australia for an oil spill. The specific toxicity level of each and every chemical used in Australia is not personally known to me.
Jane Cutler is the Chief Executive of NOPSEMA, the Offshore Petroleum Safety Authority. Around Australia, she regulates all oil platforms like Montara, which has just reopened for business. Before the oil starts flowing, Montara, like all other rigs, must get their oil spill emergency response plan approved by NOPSEMA. But Montara's current oil spill plan, released by its operator, still includes the use of both Corexit 9500 and 9527. What guarantees have they given you about how they will safely handle an oil spill if it happened again?
Any petroleum activity in Commonwealth waters, before it can take place, must have an environmental plan accepted and assessed by NOPSEMA.
So the Oil Authority must approve any planned use of dispersants, including Corexit 9500 and 9527. Crucially, those plans must outline just how toxic any dispersants become when mixed with oil. But as it stands, Montara's publicly released plan doesn't spell it out. I had a look through the oil spill contingency plan for Montara. There's some 292 pages here, but I can't find in it anywhere where they answer that question, how toxic the dispersant is when it's mixed with oil. And that's something your organisation asks them to provide. There's no mention of it in there.
I haven't seen the document that you're referring to personally.
This is their oil spill plan. This is what you regulate.
I'd have to look at the detail of it.
Are you aware that those two dispersants are banned in 18 countries? With that, Jane Cutler asked for us to wait while she checked details of the Montara emergency plan.
The components of the Corexit, which is the dispersant, are known and suspected to cause cancer.
In Louisiana, toxicologist Dr. Wilma Subra knows all about dispersants. She's been methodically documenting what Corexit mixed with oil has been doing to the people of the Gulf. Her conclusions couldn't be more serious.
Well, the short-term cancers are like the leukemia from exposure to benzene, but the long-term cancers are like cancer of the liver, cancer of the kidneys. The decreased lung function then leads to cardiovascular impacts, even though that's, quote, not cancer. That's as debilitating as cancer.
And you're in no doubt that the agents in the dispersant mixed oil is causing these illnesses and specifically the cancers.
Right.
This one here is for breakthrough pain associated with the internal injuries.
Steve Aguinaga now lives on a diet of expensive medication.
The nutrients in my body to keep me alive.
Not that BP pays for any of it.
Anxiety.
Their much publicised payout of $42 billion in clean-up, fines and compensation
Headaches.
doesn't cover people like Steve.
Severe muscle pain that I experienced throughout my body.
And now you rely on this medication to get some sort of quality of life back.
To just try to survive. If I don't take it, I die.
Why do you think nobody's listening to your plight?
Because BP's got more money than I do. And that's basically what it is. Cash is king in this country.
For a great vacation this year, come to the Gulf.
BP's deep pockets have funded a multi-million-dollar ad campaign,
And there's world-class dining with our world-famous seafood.
assuring Americans in 30-second sound bites that the Gulf is safe again.
We're open for business, then it's time to start buying Gulf seafood again.
Should Corexit have been used at all?
I certainly think not. It should not have been used because we did not have, and we still do not have, the data to show that it was safe.
It appears that BP got away with it.
I think they largely did.
But getting BP to comment on any of this is like getting blood from a stone. They refused our request for an interview, saying none of its senior executives can talk because they're potential witnesses in ongoing legal action. They did, however, provide us with a series of statements. And on the subject of dispersants, they're holding the company line, saying that they're an effective, time-tested response tool for dealing with oil spills. In Australia, the Maritime Safety Authority says these dispersants will be phased out. But if there was a spill today, they'd be used. 60 Minutes can reveal that 19,000 litres of Corexit 9500 is ready to go, stored onshore in Darwin and Gladstone. Meanwhile, Jane Cutler returns with a development.
You've gone and checked and there is new stuff you can tell us.
The new oil spill plan for Montara, the rig that blew up off WA's coast and recently began operating again, will now be reviewed by the regulator. It doesn't meet your current standards.
It doesn't meet the requirements of the regulations as they stand today.
It stands today that this is their oil spill plan and they are drilling again.
This is the one that was previously accepted by the regulator. It stands today, it's under revision, it's under challenge by NOPSEMA.
And you cannot tell me whether or not those two dispersants are being challenged.
I can't answer specifics of the details of any particular activity.
That's surprising.
Back where it all began in Louisiana, the Deepwater Horizon oil spill and the cleanup response has finally taken an unbearable toll on Kendra Arneson.
I don't see anybody swimming there.
I ain't seen nobody in there.
The once fiery activist, now beaten and broken, is reluctantly moving her family away from the Gulf.
When there's an oil spill and they're spraying it and they're sinking it, get your kids and leave. Don't stay there, don't fight, leave. So I really think for people anywhere, they really need to stand up and say, we're not gonna use toxic chemicals on toxic chemicals. It's ludicrous. It's unfathomable how someone could think that that's a logical decision.
Did BP get away with murdering the Gulf, as you put it?
Absolutely. Yeah, for a very cheap price.